I'll start this video honestly. Most men aren't afraid of intimacy. They're afraid of rejection. They dread the moment they make a move and the woman turns her back, freezes, or says something that instantly ruins the moment. What if I told you something? There's a way to ask a woman for intimacy without giving in, without pestering, and without getting rejected. The best way to use psychology, not deception or coercion, is to understand how women emotionally decide when they are ready and with whom they want to commit. That is precisely what you will learn. Now, before we delve into this topic, let me tell you something no one knows. Women are not against intimacy, nor are they against the feelings that accompany it. If you feel the romantic experience is wrong, the answer is no. If you feel it's right, the answer will come automatically. The secret you learn is to make it seem right. Now let's delve deeper. The foundation of understanding a woman's decision. Every man who is rejected in a romantic relationship often makes one of these mistakes. He asks directly, she asks too quickly, she asks anxiously, or she asks without creating any prior emotional tension. And here's the secret. Women don't make rational decisions about intimacy. They make emotional ones. Once she feels safe, understood, and desired, without pressure, once an emotional connection is established between her and the man, the door opens. Today I'm going to share an unconventional psychological method for creating intimacy without making her feel obligated, without upsetting her, and without risking outright rejection. But before delving into the details of this method, let me explain a crucial aspect of female psychology that most men overlook. Women experience desire differently than men. For most men, attraction is visual and immediate. You see someone attractive, and your body responds instantly. For women, however, attraction is multifaceted and builds up gradually. It builds up based on context, feelings, security, and expectations. This is why a woman might meet a man, feel nothing for him, and then be completely attracted to him 3 weeks later. She's not manipulating you. It's simply that her attraction needed time to develop through emotional experiences. Understanding this changes everything about how you approach intimacy. Because when you know her desire develops through emotional layers, you stop rushing. Stop pressuring her and start creating a situation where her desire builds naturally. Let's start with the most powerful principle. The first rule is, you don't have to ask directly. Let me repeat this, because it alone is enough to change everything. You don't have to ask a woman directly for intimacy. Women don't respond to direct advances. They respond to emotional invitations. And there's a huge difference. A direct question creates pressure. Pressure creates resistance. And resistance turns into rejection. But when you approach her in a gentle, emotional way, the situation changes completely. She doesn't feel forced. Instead, she feels that it's natural and that she's the one making the decision. And when a woman feels that the decision is hers, she's less likely to accept it. Now, let me show you the right way. Think about the last time someone tried to force you to buy something. What happened the moment you felt pressured? Did you back down or not? Even if you were interested before, the pressure killed your interest. The same principle applies to intimacy. When a man asks directly, "Do you want to come back to me, or should we move on?" He's making a deal. This allows you to consciously consider the decision. The conscious mind is also the seat of doubt. But when you make an emotional appeal, you are addressing her subconscious. You are evoking a feeling, not a question. And feelings are not rejected the way questions are. This is the psychology of emotional appeal. Here's the psychological aspect behind the first approach. Create an environment conducive to emotional intimacy. How do you do that? It's simple. You create an atmosphere where he feels safe with you, connected to you, and curious about you. Women respond to intimacy when 3 emotional factors are present. First, safety. Second, trust. 3, and with passion. If any of them aren't activated, they'll be ignored. But here's the good news. You don't need to pray for them. You create them. The next step is to activate them all. Listen carefully. Let me tell you about these 3 keys, because understanding them will change how you approach every interaction. Feeling safe doesn't mean knowing her for years. It means feeling that you won't judge her, pressure her, or make her feel like she's done something wrong. This feeling stems from your emotional stability. She feels safe when you are calm, composed, and not easily agitated. Trust is built when your words match your actions, when you say you're not rushing things and then you don't, when you respect boundaries without overstepping them. Trust is the foundation that allows for openness. Overstepping boundaries is the magic of chemistry. It's the buildup of tension that makes intimacy feel vibrant, not mechanical. Hope arises from the gap between content and perception, between reality and possibility, and therein lies the paradox. Most men focus entirely on projecting their attractiveness and completely disregard these three essential elements. They try to be stunning, fun, confident, and possess all the admirable qualities. But they forget that a woman needs to feel safe, confident, and stable before this attraction can develop into intimacy. The second trick is gentle attraction, one of the most ingenious tricks in dark psychology. Here's how it works. Instead of rushing into intimacy, approach it gently, not in a harsh or cold way, but in a way that shows your satisfaction with the relationship without even asking him. This offers two benefits. First, it immediately relieves the pressure. Second, it creates emotional space that allows you both to move forward. A woman feels safe with a man who doesn't rush into intimacy, not because he doesn't want it, but because he respects her feelings. When she senses that you're not pursuing anything, she'll naturally begin to approach you. And here the feeling of rejection disappears, because now it's her idea. Let me give you a practical example of what happens in reality. You're sitting next to a woman. There's a clear rapport. The conversation flows smoothly. At this moment, most men tend to become physically close. They move closer to her, touch her more, try to kiss her. But what happens? Often, she steps back slightly, not because she's uninterested, but because she feels increasing pressure. Now imagine this. You're in the same moment, and instead of stepping back, you step back slightly. You stop, you glance behind you for a moment. You simply give her a little space. What goes through her mind? Suddenly, the pressure is off. With the pressure gone, she realized her need. Wait, why did he run away? Doesn't he want this? She thought. And without thinking, she began to move closer. She began to touch him. She closed the distance. It's a pleasant effect of attraction in practice. She didn't deny it. You're not playing a game. You're showing that you're comfortable with the natural flow of energy, and this comfort makes her feel safe enough to follow you. The next method is to create anticipation, which is the strongest trigger for desire in a woman's psyche. The third method is to change her ingrained mindset. It's a subtle, psychological, and very effective trick. You don't ask her to get closer, but rather create a natural desire for it. How? Use kind and emotionally appealing phrases such as, "I really like the harmony between us. You are very friendly. You have a calmness that makes everything seem natural." It's not about wanting something or being insistent. It's more like planting seeds. Women respond to feelings, not signals. When she hears something about you, the familiarity stems from her curiosity, not your desire, and that's what changes everything. It's all about the psychology of using these expressions. You're helping her understand a feeling she's already experiencing but hasn't expressed yet. When you say, "I really love the feeling of our bodies together," you're not introducing a new idea, but rather acquainting her with something she's already felt. When she expresses her feelings, she thinks, "Yes, exactly. I feel that too." This creates rapport, and rapport is attractive. There is also a principle in psychology called preconditioning. When I mention certain words or concepts in conversation, they become easier for the other person to understand. So when I mention energy, intimacy, and connection, these words begin to influence how she interprets the moment. She is not being tricked. She's preparing to understand what's going on between you. This understanding is what transforms an interesting conversation into a close relationship. Now, the next part is important, and perhaps the most important part of this video, because men often mess it up. The fourth method is to make the woman feel confident in her abilities. Intimacy with a woman is built on feelings, especially her own: tenderness, trust, warmth, vulnerability, and openness. If a man is fearful, anxious, overly lustful, or aggressive, a woman won't be able to connect with his feminine energy. Your task is simple: keep him stable. Not aggressive, not lustful, not dependent, and not unstable. When a woman senses this stability in her partner, something magical happens. She calms down and relaxes. When you relax, it becomes, so to speak, natural. Not forced, not coerced, just natural. And because this concept is so often misunderstood by men, let me explain what masculine solidity looks like. Masculine solidity is a quiet calm, not a lack of emotion or emotional detachment. Masculine solidity is a masculine energy that feels comfortable in its own body and doesn't care about the consequences. The difference between a man who constantly seeks approval, asking, "Is this appropriate? Do you like this? Do I need to do more?" and a man who lets things take their natural course. Women are highly sensitive to authority and can easily discern a man who is anxious, stressed, and desperate for approval. All that energy is directed toward her masculine behavior, her thinking, her analysis, and her defense. But when she calms down, when she's not paying attention or rushing, she becomes tender. She relaxes. She enters her femininity, and therein lies the longing. This is why women are attracted to men who seem experienced. Not because experience itself is sexual, but because experienced men are calm. They aren't anxiously trying to figure out what to do next, nor are they wandering aimlessly. But let's talk about the mistake most men make when they're about to ask. Here's a psychology lesson that will save you from rejection. Trick number 5, don't ask yes, ask feelings. If you ask yes, you risk hearing no. When you ask about her feelings, you're inviting her to be vulnerable. Instead of asking, do you want this? Say things like, does this feel too fast? Or, are you comfortable with me here? See the difference? Instead of pressuring her, you're giving her control over her feelings. And when you give her that control, she feels safer. And when she feels safer, she'll choose intimacy. This is the difference between rejection and communication. This approach works because it restores balance completely. You're not asking her to accept or reject you, but rather asking her to manage her emotions. And that's an easy question to answer honestly. When you ask her, do you want to come back to my house? She should think, what will he think if I say yes? And when you ask her, what will he think if I say no? What does that mean? Am I ready? Is it too early? But when you ask her, is it too early for you? She should think, how do you feel now? Here's the good part. If she says, yes, you didn't. You got the information. You can reply, that's great. I wasn't trying to rush anything. I'm really enjoying being here. Now she feels heard, respected, and safe. And often she's the one who makes things worse within minutes because you've taken all the pressure off her. But we're not done yet. The next trick reveals the true dark side of psychology. Trick 6. Get her attention. This is something no man understands. Intimacy isn't built on how much a woman wants you. She makes decisions about intimacy based on how much she needs you. But without losing yourself, this means that too much need creates pressure. Too little need feels like no need at all, and a balanced need generates attraction. So when you're close to her, touching her, laughing with her, looking into her eyes, or treating her gently, you're reflecting that energy, nothing more, nothing less. It's a message that touches the subconscious. We're on the same wavelength. This communication is one of the strongest psychological signs of intimacy. Imitation is a deep-seated social mechanism. From childhood, people learn to communicate through mirrors. When a child smiles and one of their parents smiles back, the child says, "You see me. I understand. I'm fine." This same approach works in mature, intimate relationships. When a woman shows vulnerability or interest and you reciprocate, you win her over. Don't ignore her. Treat her as an equal partner. You'll feel understood on a deep level. This is where most men go wrong. They either underreact, making her feel embarrassed to show interest, or they overreact, making her feel like she's opened a can of worms. The key is moderation. If she touches your arm, touch hers. If she holds your eyes for 3 seconds, hold her for 3 seconds. If she laughs and leans forward, laugh and lean forward. This creates a dance. In this dance, intimacy grows naturally, without either of you asking for it. Now let's talk about the final step, the moment when things are settled without giving up. The final secret is to make the situation your idea, not your own. Women love the moment. Moments are full of emotion. Moments feel real. Moments feel natural, not contrived. So instead of searching for intimacy, just enjoy the moment. It feels wonderful. It's amazing how relaxed you feel. You have such a calm energy now. When you focus on time, you don't seek intimacy. You let time invite it. Women follow emotion, and emotion is spontaneous. It relieves pressure, removes awkwardness, and eliminates rejection entirely. So do you. That's why this last technique is so effective. You relinquish your role as the initiator. It's not you who desires something, but rather the moment itself that creates the desire. It's a subtle yet fundamental psychological shift. When you ask, do you want it? You are the one desiring it. But when you say, it will feel great, the feeling itself becomes the focus. Women are also more comfortable following their feelings than their desires. The feelings feel real. The questions feel like transactions. By sharing time, you create a shared experience. You're not the only one searching for something. You're both going through a shared experience. And this shared experience is the foundation of true intimacy. If you learned something new today, if it opened your eyes a little, if it made you look at women differently, don't leave. For more information about dark psychology and true wisdom, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. After watching this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel. The hidden world of psychology awaits you, and believe me, it will change your view of women forever. Thank you for watching. Follow us, stay tuned, and we will be in touch.